Did it have a sponsor before IP? Do you remember?
No, the tournament started in 1991, and with just 4 teams. The idea was, back in the late 80s, Georgetown and Stratford were constantly battling it out in the region and in the playoffs, and Coach Freddie Jordan, who was the Stratford head coach, later on became the Citadel head coach. He and Mike Johnson were just talking one day about what it would be like to play each other in the preseason. And you had Lancaster, and you also had Armo, they were all just going head to head during the late 80s. So it just started with those 4 teams, and Dr. Jim Owens was the initial tournament director. He solicited support from international paper, and the first tournament, because of all the high draft prospects, good teams, attracted lots of scouts, more than anybody anticipated. So the next year they expanded to 6 teams, and they got Lexington and Lawrence, who were 2 more 4A powerhouses. And then eventually in 93 it grew to 8 teams, and that's where we've had 9 teams 1 or 2 years, but it's been an 18 tournament since then.
Now, when you found out international paper was closing, of course, you know, the tournament was important, but at first you didn't want to talk about it because you didn't want to seem like insensitive.
Well, I think we were all stunned.
Yeah. But then you decided, you know, now's the time. It's a good time to make the announcement because you got to make the plans for March. I mean, March is right around the corner.
The teams have been invited since June.
Right.
And finally, after about 2 or 3 days, I texted all the coaches and I said, we are having a tournament, because so many people reached out, and, you know, the community was devastated. But the recurring thing they kept saying to me, please don't let the tournament go. Mm-hmm. And I knew then that we had to keep doing the tournament.
Now, how did it come about that Coastal Nissan Chevrolet become the title sponsor? How did that happen?
Brandon Brown's a good salesman.
Yeah, I mean, did you call her? Did she call you?
No, Brandon, you know, I mean, it breaks my heart, all these families who just got the rug pulled out from under their lives, you know. Mm-hmm. And anything we can do as just people in general, or anything we can do to help people, folks in Georgetown, is just, you know, just honor really be able to do it. I mean, you know, we just can't let this tournament go. It's just the bottom line is the right thing to do.
Now, did you call Miss Johnson? Did she call you and say, hey, we're looking for a sponsor?
I went to David that morning, and we just talked about it. I mean, my office and his office are 10 feet apart, and we just started talking about it. And my phone started blowing up with all these people texting me about the tournament. And that's, you know, the first thing I thought was all the people that lost their jobs, but then this tournament is also very important to a lot of people. And so he and I just started talking about it, and I think about an hour went by, and I went back to him with the idea, and he said, you don't have to sell me. I said,
he was trying to sell me. I said, you don't need to sell me like you're selling a car. I said, I'm done. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm 100% in.
So then we called Alicia and talked to her about it, and then just kind of went from there.
Now, I know when I spoke with you not long after the announcement, you were concerned. What was your feeling when you got the phone call?
I was relieved, but I think I told Brandon, I said I went back to something my granddaddy always said to me. I'm a very impatient person. He would always say, be still. And I said that to Brandon that afternoon. I said, let's just be still. I said, we've got players in our program whose parents have lost their jobs. I said, and I thanked him highly because it was good to have that. I knew I had support. And I could tell people we're going to have the tournament. We just didn't want to talk a lot about baseball in such a terrible time. Brandon has a heart for the tournament. I always kidded him last year. I said, you're really seeing it this year. I said, you may take over for me one day, not knowing this was really coming down the pipe. Yeah. So.
Well, tell us about this year's tournament. Is it all finalized now, the teams and everything?
We have our 8 teams. We're going to announce that the first week in January.
Okay.
And the schedule will come out. We're just working on trying to get our logos finalized and all of that. We just really appreciate the Brown English family and Coastal Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan and Coastal Car Wash. And we look forward to working. We actually have formed a committee this year. I'm going to still be the director, but we've got some people on the committee that have been with this tournament since the very beginning. Their parents were probably some of the founding members of the community, the tournament, and now they're helping because they grew up out here and they know what the tournament means to the community.
I called Brandon about 2 days later, and I said, Brandon, after we get over the shock of the loss of major industry in the county and how it affects so many people from top to bottom, and he says, we're working on it, we'll get it figured out. But so back in my mind, I said, I think I know what's going to happen, but didn't know. But just have a family that's so involved in the community, businesses. They have a great legacy from Jim and Betty, and now they're down to fourth generation being involved in the business. And when you have somebody that's committed to that, to the area and to the community, it's great. They've been involved. It's not like they're just putting their name on it. They've been involved in so many different ways.
The name is going to be called The Classic, sponsored by Coastal Chevrolet Cadillac Nissan. We went back and forth with the name, and we decided that my preference was I wanted to keep the name Classic in there somehow, because if you look at the definition of classic in the dictionary and what it means, that's what I want to continue to do. And
Everything that you're doing for our program and to continue this tradition is very valuable. So we'd like to present the dealership with a Georgetown baseball jersey, game worn jersey. So obviously something to keep around as long as you keep us, we'll keep y'all.
Fantastic.
So this is obviously from the baseball program. These are our returning seniors: Zach Krause, Harrison Cameron, Tucker Burrow, Bo Moody, and Chandler Adams. These guys.
Thank you very much.
They're very appreciative of this as well, and we look forward to putting on a show for y'all in March, first weekend in March.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We're glad to be part of it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.